Hey kids, week 4 of the NFL season is in the books, and that means it's time for another episode of A Pond for the Review. I'm AJ Bellino.
I'm Diego Del Barco.
And today, we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about what went wrong at Levi's Stadium on Sunday, but more importantly, we're going to talk a lot more about what's going wrong with the 49ers in general, from ownership to management to coaching to players. We're going to get into what we like, which ain't very much, what we don't, and what we think could be done about it. In any case, thanks for joining us, and here we go.
All right, AJ. So we're 4 weeks in now to the NFL season. The Niners are 1-3. Let's talk about Colin Kaepernick real quick. And why don't you just go ahead and tell me what you think is wrong with Kaepernick right now?
Well, right now, it's not about what's wrong with Kaepernick. It's about what's right with Kaepernick, and the answer to that question right now is nothing. This is a guy who's been able to win with physical tools for his entire career. Colin Kaepernick is a guy who could win with his arm, win with his legs, win with his athleticism, without really having to stick to the plan. When it was time for him to play street ball, he could do it effortlessly and win. And that's not happening right now. It's not happening right now because this guy is absolutely sandbagged by what might be the worst offensive line I've ever seen. And I'll include the 2005 49ers in that. This unit is underperforming. And as a result, he's snake bit, he's seeing ghosts. His mechanics are gone completely out the window, even when he's not facing pressure.
Okay.
What do you think?
You know, I don't necessarily disagree with the take on it. My biggest concern is whether you're playing behind a bad offensive line or not, you still need to show me some signs of life. And right now, what I'm seeing is when you had a really good O-line back in 2012.
Sure.
You were a superstar, and now you have this, again, call it 2005 O-line, and you were just not even a quarter of what you used to be. And so I looked up some stats because I was kind of curious about this. So when you go back to last year, you got Matthew Stafford sacked 45 times. Lions went 11-5, made the playoffs through the wild card. Russell Wilson, who was actually one of the more often comparisons Kaepernick gets, he was sacked 42 times. You know, Seahawks won the West. Now, Seahawks obviously had a stud defense, good running game. Lions, not necessarily a good stud defense, not necessarily a great running game. Matthew Stafford, if I asked you last year, would you take Stafford over Kaepernick, you would have said no.
Sure.
So, I need to, even behind a bad line that will get you sacked a lot, I still need to see you kind of step up and show me a little bit. And right now, Kaepernick's just not showing you anything. And you have to wonder whether he's going to be able to show you anything at all going forward.
Well, all right, so we talked about Cap and where we're at there. Now, let's kind of go into maybe a little bit of root cause analysis. Let's talk about what his biggest problem is, which I think is his offensive line.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, and right now you have to wonder, you know, after 4 weeks, you basically got what you were expecting going into the season, which is the left side. Staley has been solid. Boone, a little bit up and down, but overall he's been a solid left guard as well. But then you go center to right. Basically, from center to right guard to right tackle, you have worst, really bad, and kind of bad. And maybe what I'm thinking is Eric Parrish was brought in to be a right guard initially before Anthony Davis was, retired. So could you kind of bench DB? You can't do anything about Marcus Martin right now. You just don't have another center on the roster. But can you maybe bench DB, push Parrish to the inside, and maybe throw Trent Brown out there? What do you think about that?
Talking about how this line can be fixed is, well, it's an interesting prospect because sometimes you go to war with the army you have. And the fact is, this line's lost a lot of talent. So, I know we've had Alex Boone working at left guard. I put Alex Boone at right tackle. I would move Eric Pears into right guard because he's a pretty good zone blocking guard.
Right.
I bench Jordan Devey. And I would hold my breath for...
What, are we looking at Brandon Thomas?
No, I'd hold my breath for the 3 weeks it's going to take for Daniel Kilgore to get back off of IR. So really, this pressure situation isn't getting better anytime soon. And for things to turn around for this team, tackle to tackle on offense, these guys have got to step up and make plays. There's no more getting blown off the line by 2 yards, off the snap against a middling defense. There's no getting destroyed by B.J. Raji, who Diego and I could probably double team Raji and put him down. Well,
he's pretty big.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
He's a big guy.
He's a big guy. He's a little slow. Maybe a little soft.
Maybe.
A little bit.
Yeah.
In any case, you go to war with the army you got. This line is what it is. And if the 49ers are going to turn their fortune around, these guys got to do it themselves.
All right, so let's talk about, we talked about the players a little bit. Let's talk also about the coaching staff, because obviously right now, everything about the 49ers staff, from players to coaches is being questioned. So what do you want to see from the coaching staff?
What I want to see from the coaching staff is for them to earn a grade higher than F week over week.
That's fair.
I'd say starting week 2 through week 4, we've seen, I don't know what Steve Logan's doing, but whatever he's doing is obviously not working. I don't know what Jeep Christ is putting together, but obviously whatever protection package he's working into his offensive game plan is just not getting it done. There's no cutback lanes for the run. There's no zero reads for overload or immediate pressure for Colin Kaepernick. And if there are, he's just not seeing them. So for me, I think Logan is failing. Forster, give me something, man. Give me something. And Christ, I mean, come on, man. You got to adjust. You got to adjust. What do you?
Well, right now, it's, you got to get a little bit more from Kaepernick to kind of give the coaches that sort of a fair evaluation, because it's really hard to determine what the offensive coaches are doing with what Kaepernick showed on Sunday. That against the Packers, I mean, that's a little bit more difficult. I think also on the other side of the ball on defense, you would like to see a repeat of what the Niners showed on Sunday, because they took basically the league MVP and held him to 17 points, rattled him, pressure him, got him sacked.
Sure, yeah.
And it's almost like the first 2 weeks we were trying to disguise a lot of things, and it worked week 1 against a young quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, but then weeks 2 and 3, Ben Roethlisberger and Carson Palmer basically shred us. And I think going forward, if we can kind of sort of mimic, not mimic, but kind of follow up on the game plan that you threw against Rodgers, right, you are going to be more successful and give this offense, which is obviously struggling, a better chance to kind of meet you at the halfway point and maybe pull off some wins.
Yeah, and then also pay careful attention to making sure Lynch gets a free run at the QB.
Yes, that would work.
All right, now we're going to get into a topic near and dear, I think, to everybody's heart.
Yep.
We're going to get into Mr. Trent Baalke and what part he's had to play and where the 49ers are right now. And, I mean, let's just start. Give me a grade.
On, what are we talking about, this season alone or just overall his stadium?
Give me a grade.
C.
All right.
I'll give you a C grade. I mean, you go back, 2012 draft's one of the worst drafts just in history of the 49ers. I mean, everybody from that draft I'm talking about 3 years ago is off the roster. His first couple, because I believe he was in charge in 2010, 2011. We got some really, really good players. I'm talking about, your iPoddies, your Anthony Davises, I believe Bowman was also part of 2010. And 2011 was really good as well. But 2013 kind of took a step back. I mean, Eric Reid was your first round pick, and now you kind of have some kind of doubts about him. It seems like last year's draft sort of gave you a lot of pieces that are still in play right now, and obviously it's too soon to call on 2015. There's been some good parts. There's been some bad picks. Not enough for me to be overly excited. I don't know if it's also enough for me to actually want to call for his head. What about you?
For me, it's the all-ACL team.
Okay, that's fair.
It's the red shirts. Now, I don't mind if you're going to take a flyer on the Michael James, The guy was a stud in college. I'd take a flyer on that guy.
I thought he picked him too early.
Right. Well, yeah, but you know what? He probably wouldn't have been there, and the 49ers needed a scat back. I get that.
Okay.
Or, I don't have a problem going after somebody like Brandon Thomas, who is, by all accounts, a first-round talent if he doesn't blow his knee out. I get that. Same thing with Tank Carradine. But, man, pick one. Pick a guy with an ACL. Pick one guy who has a bum ACL. Just pick one. I don't know. I don't care how you do it. You want to put some numbers in a hat? Fire it up, baby. Maybe put them in the helmet. I don't know. Do something. But don't pick all of them.
Yeah.
Because right now, do you want to know where they all are? On our bench. Not playing when we need them. Yeah. My grade? D.
All right, and basically, let's just finish up covering the 49ers. So we talked about the players, talked about the coaches, we talked about the GM. Now let's talk about everybody's favorite Niner guy, the owner, Jet York. What role does he play in all of this right now?
Right now, I think if you're going to talk about an organization that's flailing, you got to start at the top. Mm-hmm. And I think we all know where this started. Mm-hmm. This started when Jed York wanted to get rid of, he wanted to mutually part with Jim Harbaugh. Yeah. A guy who had better winning percentage than anybody in, say, a century over the course of his sample size. The guy's the winningest coach the 49ers have had since George Seifert, and yikes. So he's gone. You take a look at what it is Jed said. What did he say?
He said, hold me accountable. We should win
Hold me accountable if we don't compete for Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? We're not competing for a Super Bowl, and it'd be great to hold Jed accountable. Yeah. This weekend, he tried to give away tickets to the game and was regaled with love on Twitter. I think the overall consensus was, don't worry, Jed, we can't give them away either.
We can't give them away.
And based on the number of Packer fans and seats, I think that a lot of them did get given away.
Oh, what's that, 40-60 over?
Bingo. Yeah. Bingo. So if you want to take a look at where you are right now, Jed, right now, you're accountable. You're accountable for the failure.
And you know what? It's really, it's a very simple process for a fan base to make themselves heard. But it's something that they're not comfortable with. And how you make, because by all accounts, about 80% of this fan base just flat out does not like Jed York. And they want him out. And owners, Miami Dolphins being a perfect example, they don't give up franchises. The Raiders, they don't give up franchises. So you have an opportunity as a fan base in a couple of weeks, week 7, I believe, against the Seahawks out of all teams on Thursday Night Football, a national televised game, to make a statement. And assuming there's a good chance that we're going to be 1-5 going into that game, get yourself organized, get yourself together, and take action. Make something happen during that game. And I mean in a peaceful way, not in a crazy, gangbanger way. But just like, if you were to stage like a walkout in the second quarter in a section that was clearly on camera, and give not just local media, but national media something to just take Jed York to the wall, you might be able to see some stuff happening. Right now, Jed York just sitting there, sitting back, counting his money. As a fan base, you have a lot of power to get things done, but you have to be actually feel comfortable taking that kind of action right now. Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
Well, but credit where credit is due. Jed was a champion and making sure that everybody got a shot at Taylor Swift tickets, right?
Oh, well, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, if you want to call that a win. Well, all right, kids, we're coming to that time of the show where we go with our predictions for the week. We're going to run through the Niner game first. We'll split out the rest of our picks in our next video.
Yeah.
We've got the 49ers going to the New York Giants. This is Sunday Night Football. Yep. Giants are favored by 7. And I'm going to go ahead and let you tell me what you think, and then we'll follow with my pick. What do you got?
Okay. Well, 7-point deficit. So what I found out this week was the Giants are number 1 in the league at stopping the run, like less than 70 yards per game. a little bit over 3 yards per attempt. But they're at the same time the worst at giving up passing yards. Dead last. Even worse than the Niners. So here come the 49ers and Colin Kaepernick, who can't throw the ball, and try to win games by running Carlos Hyde. Obviously, just horrible matchup for the Niners right now. Unless somehow it clicks for Kaepernick and he's able to throw to set up the run, or maybe the defense kind of comes through with some Eli Manning, picks, which we know it could happen.
Sure.
Or maybe a punt return by Jared Hayne. Maybe we want to get Jared Hayne involved in the passing game. I don't know. Or maybe give Reggie Bush a shot now that he's healthy. But based on what we've seen and based on, again, those stats that I was able to pull out, I can't give this to the Niners, no. So, apparently the over on this kind of 40, the line's 43. So what are we looking at? 33-10? So I don't think it reaches 43. 27-10.
27-10.
New York Giants.
All right. I said earlier in the season that I would not pick the 49ers to win a road game until they showed me they could get their shit together.
Wait.
Kids.
Have they shown you that?
No.
Okay.
So, surprise, surprise, unless the game's played on my Xbox, I'm not picking the 49ers to beat the Giants this weekend. That's not going to happen. They're going to lose. And I think they're going to lose by more than 7 points. The defense is going to perform admirably. I think that Mangini is starting to learn about the pieces that he's got. The offense, I don't know. I don't know if they can block. I don't know if they could block Diego. I don't know if they could block me. I don't know if they could block my girlfriend Carrie if she really wanted some wine and they were in her way. I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. And kids, we're at a point now where people are paying to watch this. That's an embarrassment. The 49ers are going to lose this game, and I think they're going to lose it 28-6.
28-6, all right.
Well, thanks a lot for joining us. Obviously, we'd like to be talking about wins. Unfortunately, the 49ers haven't given us a lot to work with. My name is AJ Bellino.
I'm Diego Del Barco.
And this has been Upon Further Review.